You wake up tired even though you slept. You spend the day doing very little, yet your body feels heavy, your mind feels slow, and everything inside you asks for rest again. This kind of tiredness is confusing because it doesn't match your actions. You didn't run, you didn't work hard, you didn't push yourself physically. And yet, exhaustion sits in your chest like a weight that never fully lifts. This type of tiredness isn't about the body. It's about the mind carrying more than it knows how to release. When your mind stays alert for too long, rest stops being restorative. Sleep becomes shallow, breaks feel empty, and even silence feels loud. Your body may be still, but your nervous system is. Many people who feel tired while doing nothing are actually spending energy internally. Thinking, monitoring, anticipating, replaying, controlling. The mind stays busy even when life looks calm on the outside. And because this effort is invisible, it goes unnoticed, unacknowledged, and untreated. You blame yourself for being lazy, unmotivated, or weak, without realizing that your system has been working nonstop. This tiredness often begins quietly. It starts as mental fog, difficulty focusing, needing more time to respond, feeling drained after simple conversations. Over time, it spreads into the body. Your muscles feel weak, your posture collapses, your breath becomes shallow. Rest no longer feels like relief. It feels like pause without recovery. One of the deepest causes of this exhaustion is emotional suppression. When you don't allow yourself to feel fully, your mind has to work harder to keep emotions contained. Every unexpressed emotion requires effort to hold back. Sadness becomes tension. Anger becomes fatigue. Fear becomes heaviness. Over time, this constant internal control drains your energy more than physical work ever could. You may not even realize you're suppressing anything. For many people, this became normal early in life. You learned to stay composed, to not react too much, to not need too much. You learned that calm meant safe. So your system adapted by keeping emotions low and controlled. But suppression doesn't erase emotions, it stores them. And stored emotions demand energy to keep them buried. Another hidden reason for this exhaustion is chronic mental vigilance. If your mind learned that rest isn't safe, it never truly powers down. Even when you lie down, your thoughts keep scanning. Even in silence, your mind prepares for something that hasn't happened yet. This constant readiness uses fuel, and when fuel runs low, tiredness takes over. You may notice that you feel most tired when you finally stop, when distractions end, when you sit alone. That's because movement and stimulation keep the mind occupied. Stillness removes the noise, allowing the exhaustion to surface. It's not created in those moments, it's revealed. This kind of tiredness is also closely connected to meaning. When your days lack emotional fulfillment, your energy drops. The mind needs purpose to generate vitality, not productivity but meaning. When you live on autopilot, doing what needs to be done without feeling connected to it, your system slowly powers down. You exist, but you don't feel engaged. And disengagement drains energy faster than effort. Many people confuse this exhaustion with burnout, but burnout usually follows overuse. This tiredness often follows under expression. You are not exhausted because you did too much. You are exhausted because too much of you stayed inside. Your thoughts didn't move outward. Your emotions didn't flow. Your needs weren't voiced. And energy that doesn't move eventually stagnates. There is also a deep relationship between tiredness and self-pressure. Even when you do nothing, you may still feel guilty for resting. That guilt keeps the nervous system active. The body lies down, but the mind stands guard. True rest requires permission. Without it, every pause becomes another source of tension. This is why sleep doesn't always help. Sleep repairs the body, but it cannot resolve unresolved mental load. You wake up with the same thoughts, the same emotional weight, the same quiet pressure waiting for you. So the day begins already heavy. Over time, this exhaustion can make life feel distant. Joy feels muted. Motivation disappears. Even things you once enjoyed feel like effort. This doesn't mean you're broken. It means your system has been surviving in a way that no longer serves you. The most misunderstood part of this tiredness is that it feels personal, but it is. It's a response, a learned pattern, a signal that your mind and body have been compensating for too long without release. And signals aren't failures, they're messages. This kind of exhaustion asks a different question, not why am I lazy, but what has my mind been carrying silently, not why can't I do more, but where am I not allowed to be myself? The answers to these questions don't come quickly, but they change everything. As awareness grows, you may start noticing how often you override yourself, how often you push through discomfort instead of addressing it, how often you stay quiet to keep peace, how often you stay busy to avoid feeling. Each of these moments costs energy, and together they explain why doing nothing can feel so tiring. This is not the end of the story. It's the beginning of understanding. Because once you see where your energy has been going, you can begin to bring it back. Not by forcing motivation, not by pushing harder, but by allowing what has been held in to finally move. This kind of tiredness deepens when your nervous system forgets how to fully relax. If your body learned early on that rest meant vulnerability, it never truly lets go. Even in safe moments, there is a subtle tension beneath the surface. Your muscles may loosen, but your awareness stays sharp. Your breathing slows, but something inside remains on guard. This constant half-alert state slowly drains you, because true rest only happens when the system feels safe enough to stop watching. Emotional fatigue plays a major role here. When you carry unprocessed feelings for long periods, they don't stay emotional, they become physical. The body holds what the mind avoids. Shoulders tighten under responsibility that was never shared. The chest feels heavy from words never spoken. The stomach knots around unresolved fear. None of this looks like effort, but it consumes energy continuously. You may notice that you feel especially tired after thinking about life, not living it. Planning, worrying, imagining outcomes, replaying conversations. The mind keeps moving while the body stays still. This mismatch creates exhaustion because movement without release leads nowhere. Your energy circulates inside instead of flowing outward. There is also a quiet sadness hidden in this tiredness. Not dramatic sadness, but the kind that comes from feeling disconnected from yourself. When you live too much in your head and too little in your experience, life starts to feel distant. And distance requires effort. Staying present when you feel detached costs energy. Smiling when you feel empty costs energy. Functioning while feeling numb costs energy. Many people who feel tired doing nothing are actually resisting something, a feeling they don't want to face, a truth they're not ready to accept, a change they fear making. Resistance is exhausting. The mind tightens around what it wants to avoid, and that tension never fully relaxes. Over time, fatigue becomes the body's way of saying it can't hold that tension forever. This exhaustion often worsens when you judge it, when you tell yourself you shouldn't feel this way, when you compare your tiredness to others' productivity. Self-judgment adds another layer of pressure. The body already feels drained, and now it also feels wrong for being drained. That internal conflict deepens the fatigue. Healing begins when you stop fighting the tiredness and start listening to it, not as a problem to fix, but as information. Asking what kind of rest you actually need. Physical rest helps, but emotional rest matters just as much. Emotional rest means not performing, not explaining yourself, not forcing positivity. It means allowing your internal state to exist without correction. The nervous system recovers through consistency, not force. Small moments of safety, gentle routines, honest self-check-ins, letting your body know that stillness is allowed, that nothing bad happens when you slow down. This process takes time because the system learned these patterns slowly too. As you begin to release what you've been holding, energy returns in quiet ways, not as sudden motivation but as clarity. Your mind feels less crowded. Your body feels lighter. Rest starts to feel restorative again. You don't need to do more, you need to carry less. Eventually, you realize something important. You were never tired because you were inactive. You were tired because too much of you was working invisibly. Once that effort becomes conscious, once emotions are allowed to move, once rest becomes safe, the exhaustion loses its grip. This tiredness was never your weakness. It was your system asking for a different way of living, one where presence replaces pressure, where expression replaces suppression, where rest is not something you earn but something you're allowed to have. And slowly, doing nothing stops feeling heavy, because nothing inside you is being held back anymore.